Good morning from the beautiful island of Barbuda. Austin and I wanted to just take a few minutes this morning and just share an update with all of you who support Austin and enable and empower him to be here. But before we get started, God put something on my heart from Scripture. And in the book of Exodus, Moses is building the tabernacle. And it says that the Lord put the Spirit of God and skill, ability, and knowledge in men and women in all kinds of crafts. And that's exactly what he did here with our Austin. And Austin has many different gifts and talents, and God is using them here to bless the people of Barbuda in extraordinary ways. And it also says in chapter 36, it goes on to say that the Lord gave ability to those who were willing to come and do the work. And you know, that's what God does. God gives us gifts and talents, and then he also created us with the free will to choose. Are we going to use those gifts and talents for his kingdom and for his good and glory? And that's what Austin has done. Austin has said, yes, here I am, send me. And because of your generous support, he's able to be here. And you know, one of the projects that Floyd Ministries is doing on the island of Barbuda is our Garden and Gate program. And back right after Hurricane Irma hit the island of Barbuda and destroyed her, I met a lady named Marian Hamlet, and she knew all of the things that God had put on our heart to be able to help the people of Barbuda. And she said to me, Bonnie, I want to tell you that one of the greatest needs that we have on Barbuda is fencing. When Irma came, she wiped out every fence at everyone's home. And we have a horrible wild animal population that come in and destroy our yards and keep us from being able to grow our own food. And if you could ever help us with fencing, it would be a tremendous blessing. And so that's exactly what we've done. We started our Garden and Gate project, and it is well underway. We've already accomplished 3, and we have a list of 4 more. So Austin, why don't you tell them about our Garden and Gate program and how God's using your skills to be a part of that?
Absolutely. So our Garden and Gates project is just that. We go and we surround their property with a beautiful fence, just like the one you might be able to see in our background. I'm not sure. And then we install 2 gates. One is a walk gate, and then one is a bigger gate for trucks and stuff to get in if they want to do any work or stuff like that. So we build the gates, put the gates in, and then we go ahead and we have baskets that we'll share with you in a minute, and it's filled with seeds and stuff to be able to promote, you know, their ability to self-sustain themselves and grow some food. What I have been given the opportunity to do is make some signs for all of the walk gates. So they love personal things, and
yes, they do.
We wanted to give them a gift, not just a fence, but give them something to make it their own.
Yeah.
And this is actually the sign we made for Marian, because she is truly the pioneer of the Garden and Gates project. She is the one who planted the seed. We wanted to give her something special. So we put their name on it, and then a date of their choosing. This is actually the date she planted that seed, which is July 4th, 2018, just shy of a year after Irma. On some of them we'll put the wedding dates or the date that they moved into the home, whatever.
That was hilarious. The light fell over on my head. Okay, well that was funny right there, don't you think? Welcome to the island of Barbuda. Things like that happen to us all the time. And you know what? We could have spliced it out, but we thought, nope, we're leaving it in. So we're just going to pick up right where we left off. The next thing we were going to tell you about were these beautiful baskets. So after a recipient gets their fence and their gates and their beautiful sign from Austin, we present them with this harvesting basket right here. It's really cool. Donnie and Austin make this right here on the island, and we brand it. It's got a little BFM thing there, and inside is a kneeling pad, some gardening gloves, and we provide them with tools. And Pennsylvania plays a big part of our Garden and Gate program. And we have seeds that come from central Pennsylvania, your beautiful sweet corn, peas,
beans,
cantaloupe, broccoli, cabbage. This time you even brought onion bulbs.
Onion bulbs,
yep.
Yes.
Austin fills up his backpack and his suitcase and comes with a ton of seed. And so they absolutely love this gift that goes along with their fence. And then this is my little seed basket, because even if you don't get a fence, we still provide seed for the people to be able to grow their own vegetables and sustain themselves. So this is a project that's near and dear to our heart, but we have other projects. And so we want to just kind of quickly share what God's been doing just since we've been here. And one of the big things that has happened is that Bonnie Floyd Ministries has partnered with Abundant Life Ministries, which actually Abundant Life Church is our church here on Barbuda. Our pastor is Pastor Clifton Francois. And for years we met in a small rented building. But God put a vision in Pastor Francois's heart to build a large church that would serve the community of Barbuda, not just our congregation, but the community of Barbuda. And we have partnered together with them. And what we're really excited about is that it was a big ask, but we serve a big God. And He provided not only the funds to be able to build the new church, but Pastor Francois and the people of Barbuda were able to build it in just 3 months. Amazing. Absolutely miraculous. And so there's a certain section of the church that has a lot to do with Bonnie Floyd Ministries and our partnership with the church. Austin, why don't you share about that?
So a part of this big church building, there's another little room off to the side, and I say little, but it's 800 square feet. And that has been gifted to Bonnie Floyd Ministries, and it is now the BFM vocational school, where we're going to be able to train the ladies in jewelry making, pottery, sewing classes. I mean, anything that because we're trying to promote entrepreneurship and independency from the government and, well, Antigua.
Yeah, because everyone is dependent upon the government, and the government very inconsistently pays. You can't really buy anything but really food and water on the island of Barbuda. They are completely dependent on getting everything from Antigua. And so we want to help them start their own businesses, and so that they are not only independent of the government, but they're independent of Antigua. And so the thing is that we already have 10 sewing machines and a pottery kiln, and we've got all of these things to help the women. But God's put something on Donnie and Austin's heart. So why don't you share about that with the vocational school?
So God has really instilled it into Donnie and myself to do the same thing for the men.
Yes.
I mean, there isn't much to do here, and because of the dependency on Antigua, we want to have a vocational school for the men where we teach welding and all kinds of metalwork, mechanic stuff to be able to work on all the cars, electrical, yes, plumbing. I mean, you name it. We want to be able to instill them with the knowledge and the ability to go out and, work for themselves or open up their own shops.
Or just get jobs.
Just get jobs and trades on anywhere. Back in the States, especially an island that needs to be rebuilt, we'd love to instill them with the knowledge to help rebuild their home.
Yes. Absolutely. So we're really excited about that partnership. During that 3 months, we were in the States, and then when we got here in the final push before our inaugural service Sunday, we were in quarantine. And so we felt really bad. But Pastor Francois had another little vision in his heart, and he wanted a media balcony, a suspended media balcony in the back of the church. And so he came to Donnie and asked Donnie if we would be able to build that. So that wasn't in our plan, no. But you have been putting in some long days.
Yes.
So tell him about that.
So Pastor Francois, one of his many gifts and one of his where his heart is mm-hmm. in media, in the sound and how the music is, because one thing he does is he broadcasts to the world. I mean, he does a lot, and he started the radio station.
Yeah, the first radio station on the island he started.
And what he wanted was a media booth to be able to have everything in the back, because that's where the sound and everything is, and right now it's up by the stage, and he wants it all to be perfect. It's
professional looking.
Yes, professional looking. So Donnie came back and he drew up this beautiful balcony that's suspended from the ceiling, and we've never really done that, so we just kind of went for it, figured out kind of what we needed, and all this week,
4 days.
4 days, we built it. We built a balcony for the media, suspended from the ceiling with cable, with some angle braces along the side, but it doesn't impede. There's no post. It's all just hanging on the wall.
Pretty exciting.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
and
we're going to send some still pictures for Pastor Rich to share, because you got to see this balcony. It's pretty amazing. And so Pastor Francois said, last night, looking at it finished, he said to me, I knew what I was asking for, but I didn't know what it would look like or how it could be done. And there's no one on the island that could have ever done this for me. And so you did. And so we were really excited to be able to do that. So we'll send you a picture so that you can see what that looks like. But moving on, we don't want to make this video too long. The other thing that we wanted to talk about was our restore and rebuild. And so that is where we go in and we are rebuilding the insides of homes with kitchens and bathrooms and just helping people who are living in horrific conditions. You know, Austin, we've seen so much progress, right? We have seen tremendous progress happening on the island, but God continues to bring people to us and reveal that there are still, even after 3 years, living in absolute horrific conditions. I think a lot of you helped support our project with Sylvia, and that was a big ask. And we raised the funds to be able to, this will be our first house that we are a part of building from the ground up. And that project is going to start in June. We're here now until April 6th, and then we'll be back in May, Lord willing, and we will be here for months, and that's when we're going to start Sylvia's house. And God has put something else on our heart to accomplish before that April 6th date. Why don't you share about that?
So we've been coming back over this past year. We've made 3 trips, but you know, the quarantine's been in place. There's a reason teams haven't been able to come, and it's that quarantine. We've been blessed to be able to stay for longer periods of time, so that doesn't affect us as much to where we can still get out in the village. So we've had about 6 weeks of quarantine within our fence, and we've really chosen to look at it as a blessing in disguise, because there's been much to do here to prepare for teams and prepare to keep teams outside of our fence, to out in the community, be able to be in the village and helping people. So we've been able to prepare as much as we can, and we're going to leave fully ready to receive teams. We want to do everything on our end and our part to be ready, and then let God do the rest.
And you know, we thought we were ready. We were. We brought 3 teams of 15, 45 people over a month and a half period of time right before COVID hit. But God has done some amazing things, and we now have a generator if the power goes out. We have the cistern is full of water, which water was a real issue during that time. And I can also say that we now have, what do we have in every room, Austin?
We have AC units in every room.
Air conditioning. So at night you'll be able to rest comfortably. And so all of these things we've been able to do. And you know, God has said to me that that He likes us to take a step of faith and give Him something to work with. And so our goal is to have everything ready when we leave on April 6th to be able to start bringing in teams on a regular basis. We're going to leave here ready to move. We've given God a team home ready to work with. And you know, the beauty of that is that He would like for you maybe to take a step of faith and make plans to come. We're ready to bring in teams of as big as 16 or 18 or as small as 6. And right now, American Airlines, you can book a flight and cancel right up until the last minute and get all your money back. And so maybe you can look at your calendar for over the summer and see if you can come and serve here on Barbuda with us. We love having Austin here, but we'd love to have you come, because the more people we have, the more people we can help.
The more God has to work with.
Exactly. And so we're going to give Pastor Rich and Tracy our summer schedule. We already have teams that have done the very thing that I just suggested. They've booked their flights, they've planned their dates. But let me tell you what we need God to do. We need God to lift this quarantine. We are desperate for him to do this, and he can. There's nothing that he can't do. Even in the midst of this pandemic, he can lift this quarantine. Because anything that we ask in accordance with his will, it shall be done. We know it is his will for us to be here and to help the people of Barbuda. And so we're preparing for the teams to come, and we believe in our heart, know in our spirit that God is going to lift this quarantine. But prayer, it moves the hand of God. And so will you join us in praying that God will lift this quarantine? And will you seek him about the possibility of coming and being a part of what we're doing here? We certainly would love to have you. And speaking of that, we would love to have Austin here with us all summer long. And so I'm asking maybe that you could pray about continuing to support Austin so that he can be here and help us to do what we're doing here. We know that that is what's on his heart. We're grateful for what you've already done, but you have not because you ask not. And so everything we do is through the generous support of others, us not only physically being here, but the Garden and Gate projects and the Restore and Rebuild and the vocational school and all of those things is because of the generous donation of people who believe in what we're doing and want to help the people of Barbuda. So I think that kind of wraps it up for us today. We hope that we have given you an update, that we've encouraged you to seek the Lord and see what he would have you do. So we love you, Pastor Rich and Tracy, and all of you at Sinago. We ask the Lord would bless you in ways that only he can. Thank you for partnering with us. God bless you, and we hope you have a great Sunday.
Thank you.